those are your forerunners that are going to be broadcast for you here. DK 9146, Angel FM, Brian Williams 42, and Mr. Holmes. And I think we may actually have Smashy in Angel FM's place since we were having trouble with the feed. But what do we have in the throne room tonight? The Seawolf.
About to find out. Big Stick, an Herb, and the Key, of course. And Hurt More starting. So Big Stick and Hurt More. It's a bad day to be a monster.
My goodness. Time to go kill some bad guys. Multiple ways to do that. And they'll probably just go out into the secondary zones pretty much immediately. They'll have...
Hope they're ready for a half-hour seed.
Yeah. They got 15 MP to work with, too, so that's 3 Hurt Mores right off the bat, and they'll be leveling up quickly. We'll get more from there. So Brian Williams with a one-shot on the Magidrakey. That's a quick level 2. And a little Rogue Scorpion for our top right runner.
Yeah, fortunately, Rogue Scorpion is very high agility and got the ambush. Mr. Holmes has brought the Star Wyvern, which says, ha, hurt more, that's nice, and still kills you anyway. So biting off a little bigger than they can chew right now.
And we got a lot of swamp to the west. We have, but there's plenty of nice territories where some decent monsters are popping up. Not a lot of towns and caves just yet. Oh, I say that, and Brian Williams makes a run and finds Caitlin. So they didn't start with any gold, so he probably doesn't have a whole lot to work with, but he'll take a look at the shops just in case. Definitely don't need the bamboo pole. We have the biggest weapon in the game already. But just going to check out what's going on while Mr. Holmes continues. Well, it looks like everybody's finding Caitlin now. Okay.
Yeah, Caitlin just seems to be around that bend. You just go south a little bit to the east, and it's right there around that lake south of the handle. But you see a little change of plans
you
here.
Can see kind of a more experienced runner in Mr. Holmes just noping out of Caitlin immediately, knowing that, buying things right now is not really priority. You want to just quickly get these levels out of the way. You have Hurt More, Rogue Scorpions popping up here. Unfortunately, they probably don't really have a good agility score, and Rogue Scorpions are pretty quick. He manages to get the first strike there on Mr. Holmes, so he wasn't able to get the high experience kill, but I'm sure that's a nice spot that he'll want to note because that's a great Hurt More monster once you can get the first strike in on it.
Yeah, Rogue Scorpion is the strongest monster in the game, HP-wise and experience-wise, that will guaranteed die to a Hurt More.
And it's worth quite a lot of experience at this stage. It would have easily been an extra level or possibly 2 if he could have gotten it. Star Wyvern, on the other hand, it's worth a lot, and Mr. Holmes does manage it for 105. Now, that is not guaranteed to go down in 1 Hurt More, but...
in fact, it did not.
Yeah.
It actually took 2 shots to take down. Oh, heal more level 5.
Yeah, so he had enough HP then to withstand the counterattack from Star Wyvern, so really nice situation for Mr. Holmes, and this time not getting the first strike, so he's going to hope to one-shot it. Does max damage with the Hurt More, but it's not enough this time. But it's definitely worth the effort. If he could have gotten another 105 experience, he would have been well on his way. Meanwhile, Brian Williams has tallied several decent kills already, so he's taken the early experience lead down in the bottom left quadrant there.
Yeah, Brian's been fighting softer enemies, like mid-tier enemies, getting more kills faster. Holmes smash you or chewing on like Star Wyverns and Rogue Scorpions, but occasionally one bites back. I don't think Brian's died yet, so just being able to maintain combat constantly.
Talking about the medium squishy enemies, he just one-shot a green dragon, so there are some a good mix of enemies, I guess, around, and took that one down for a huge amount of experience. Now going through the swamp here, sees that it's kind of the coastline comes all the way around, so the good bit of exploration. There is a bridge to the south, but finding some Droll Magi, some really good enemies early on, so there'll be no problems getting the experience. So now it's going to quickly become how fast can you find various caves and towns so you can grab those quest items as quickly as possible.
DK is discovering the Poltergeist has Dragon Lord breath, so despite all the power of Hurt More and a big sword and even heal more, Ambush and Dragonlord Breath will still kill you until you're at least 70 hit points.
Mr. Holmes has been sticking around near the town here, so he may have some gear in mind that he wants to pick up defensively. There also are just a pretty good set of enemies. He's having some pretty decent luck with the Star Wyvern here. Gets another level off this one, so he's closing the gap experience-wise, and he's also building up a little bit of gold. Brian Williams has large shield money, by the way, so if he wants to make it back to that town, might want to check up the other shop. I didn't catch if the top shop had it, but Mr. Holmes is about to find out now.
Didn't believe so.
There is a chainmail, so that's a very nice pickup early on defensively.
Good step up there. Brian Williams also find Charlock around that narrow, swampy passage.
There's one other weapon shop in Cantlin accessible right now without keys, if he wanted to go see if the large shield is there for later, but he can't afford it right now anyway, so he'll probably just grab maybe the dragon scale here, possibly some herbs and torches, and he'll just move on.
And Brian, level 8, finally dies. So the whole time, beat up enemies exploring the map. So, sounds like 5 minutes to be alive in the sea doesn't seem like much, but the other racers have probably died 4 or 5 times each. The amount of time gained is pretty impressive there.
And look, another Axonite pops up. He's just getting the perfect enemies, and he's managing to one-shot the ones that are, not guaranteed to go down with the hurt more. So, I don't know, whatever sprite this is that he's sporting seems to be some good luck so far for Brian Williams. So,
appears to be the, I think it's the male merchant from Dragon Warrior 3.
Is that right? Okay. I don't recognize the color scheme there on it, so there's so many interesting and fun sprites that are from this series of games and some of the other closely related retro games that I don't know. It's fun to see what the runners pick from time to time. See Mr. Holmes with some kind of a Yoshi sprite, it looks like. And DK19146 had an Axonite on screen, but he takes a death, so you can see a little bit of a difference in the early luck there. Brian Williams has quadruple digit experience already, so running away with the experience lead so far, and doing a bit of exploration as well. Nothing down here in this desert to the south, but more green dragons.
Smashing
another possible 135 experience.
Smashing a cave, and a warlock runs into Smashy with sleep spell, and the hard way takes Smashy down. So walked to the cave, didn't get very far, and immediately killed by the warlock.
Yeah, he's very close to another level up as well, so unfortunately, if he could have gotten that warlock, it would have been another level, so you always hate dying just before a level up, because when you go back to the throne room, you'd like to get the benefits of whatever the new level would offer you, if it was more MP or more, more HP or whatever.
Yeah, it was really bad luck, though. He had full life for that combat, and just turned round one, put to sleep. Warlock's 5-day sword swing, and just took him down, 4 or 5 rounds of punching.
And they have the repel spell now as well. So the combination of repel and hurt more, they're going to be able to cover this map pretty quickly. And heal more as well. So this is really shaping up to be a jet seed. It's just now a matter of, how close the various locations are geographically on the map, and, where exactly those quest items are located. We have some search spots. We have some dungeons where they could be in various treasure chests. So finding those things and exploring them, opening them all up as quickly as you can now is the name of the game. The experience will come just anyways. There seems to be no shortage of really good monsters. So where are those towns and caves? Smashy's going to re-explore this cave here, hoping for something useful. Magic Key would be a great find in the dungeon here, as well as those quest items.
Yep, Brian Williams found Brecconary. Nothing left there. Magic armor in the shop if you want it that badly, but nothing for early gains. Didn't care about that, but a small shield just to get something out of there.
There's several pretty large swamps for a seed that's not, a quote-unquote swamp seed or whatever. It's kind of amusing that they have to deal with that. Even though they have heal more, it's like not even a big deal really, but it's always funny to see that on some of these maps.
Well, it's funny, people are saying swamp seems to be really big swamps and seeds. And I point out to them, like, in the vanilla game, there's an entire continent of swamp. So if it's a 1-for-1 swap, there's a whole lot of swamp tiles around.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, there's absolutely there's plenty of swamp in the game. So maybe it just so happens that a lot of the swamp is appearing close to the castle in this case, and we're just seeing a lot of it now, and maybe elsewhere will be a bit drier land. But yeah, except for Cantlin, and I guess we saw Charlock, and we have this one cave for Smashy. We're not finding a lot of these locations yet. So here's a cave for Brian Williams. Not sure if that's the same one Smashy found. It is a dark cave, so. And he doesn't have a light source. I was thinking maybe he wouldn't try it, but yeah, it looks like it's Mountain Cave by the early walking path for Brian Williams. Is that where Smashy was as well?
I couldn't tell. Smashy walked in, walked straight right, and then got smoked by the Wyvern, or the Warlock, I should say. So there's no way to gauge directionals.
So, yeah.
Smashy has a key.
So Mountain Cave is a nice one because there's 5 chests in it that none of them require the magic key to access them. And look at how Brian Williams, no problem with the Armored Knight, one of the more fierce enemies. But no, he misses on the Hurt More just as I say that.
The 115
Oh, my
strikes.
word. That's unfortunate. And he takes a fairly high roll from the Armored Knight as well, getting 36 damage. He has the chainmail, but just not enough to withstand.
Yeah, the first hit from the Armored Knight was a 20. So it was a 20 in the first roll and 36 in the second. So yeah, both extremes.
So
Smashy somehow procured
Smashy
procured a key somewhere in that cave, I guess, and has cracked open the cave.
He may have had very bad luck, but no, there was another gold chest as well. I was going to say the first chest he opened doesn't have gold in it. He must have opened 4 of the 5 chests, maybe, if it was Mountain Cave that he was in. And so the first chest he opened was gold, but turns out there's another gold chest. So anyways, Cantlin is nearby with 3 weapon shops. So I don't recall exactly what was in that top shop, Seawolf. There weren't any shields in that shop.
No, it was.
But there's 2 other shops to choose from, so he's probably just going to get at least the silver shield money here, and maybe enough for magic armor, or if he doesn't want to bank on that, maybe just half fleet money or something.
Yeah, the third shop no one knows yet, but Smashy has the keys to get the shop and the coordinates. So possibly some exploration going on after this.
Yeah, I mean, he could go check the basement if he didn't already, but I think that it looks like he is going to go in that direction, so go get some more keys perhaps, check the basement, but I'm not sure if it's Swamp Cave, for example, if he would bother going through, since Cantlin is right nearby and you want to be able to carry this money, without taking a death and losing it, right? So we get a look at the spells that they do have. So Stop Spell is in the mix here, not going to be used very much in this one. Outside is coming at one of the later levels, 9 or 10. Looks like level 9 will pick up Outside if they happen to find Swamp Cave. They can use that to their advantage. Hawksness now for Mr. Holmes, and it is an Axe Knight on the tile.
All right, so Hawksness going to be a good grind spot, and our reward is the token.
Yeah, and while I was looking at Smashy doing the gold grind, meanwhile, Mr. Holmes has managed to take over that experience lead. He often is just a beast with gaining experience, and it was interesting to see Brian Williams go out to that lead in the beginning, first 10 minutes or so, but in the meanwhile here, Mr. Holmes has overtaken him. Takes the death. Has the token in his possession now. I think that's the first quest item we've seen.
Well, Smash's inventory, I saw a glimpse of it, I think has stones and harp.
Is that right? So where was he where we were finding
I gotta guess Mountain Cave, because he found a key and a whole bunch of stuff in there.
Oh, there's the Stones of Sunlight for Brian Williams. So yeah, this must be Mountain Cave. Yep. Okay. Perfect. So Mountain Cave, and he got 4 out of the 5 chests in Mountain Cave, and it'll be interesting to see if Smashy goes back for the last chest at some point, or if he's gonna wait till the end. Finds the full plate in the middle shop. Nice upgrade defensively there. Don't really need the magic armor if you end up with the full plate. He can go get the coordinates now as well because he has keys, and let's see if there's a silver shield here, or at least a large shield. All right, so he'll pick up the large shield. and probably proceed over to grab these coordinates, while the last chest for Brian Williams was... Totally missed it.
Didn't see it. Mr. Holmes found the harp in the treasury, so obviously the harp is in home in the castle.
Yeah, and we know that the token is not in that last chest, so in theory, Smashy will not need to go open that last chest. We know where all the important things are. They already started with the sword, so we basically know where everything is already. And once they do have those quest items, we're going to need to find 2 additional caves, which has these grumpy old men that will trade up various items until you acquire the rainbow drop from the second old man. That's how you actually access the final dungeon, Charlock Castle, which we saw earlier on Brian Williams' screen. But that's basically the only things that are left to find, right? Seawolf, everything else is sort of like not necessary.
Pretty much. Coal somewhere, we gotta find coal to find where the armor might be there. Coordinates are 40
Erdrick's
west.
armor, I apologize. Forgot they don't have the armor yet. Yep.
Coordinates
and
are,
there are coordinates as well.
Yeah, it'll be 40 west, 25 south, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, and if that's the armor, then then we don't need to find anything else.
Yeah, and the jerk is in the potential basement. So the jerk's at home. So is the harp. So harp cave's out there somewhere to be found. And Charlock's a bit to the west. So it's a pretty localized map.
I mean, if they find the staff cave like nearby, this is going to be the fastest seed ever. I mean, we have a axe knight on the spike tile. We have basically all the quest items already found. If those coordinates lead to the armor, I mean, this could be just insanely fast. It's interesting how that happens sometimes.
Mr. Holmes finds Brecconary, not too thrilled. We'll check the shop real fast and get out of town.
Yeah, magic armor is for sale there if he wanted to upgrade all the way from the chainmail to the magic armor eventually. I would think that Smashy is no longer going to look for the magic armor specifically. He might still poke around into the various shops to look for the silver shield while he's still carrying this money, but oftentimes this is good enough gear. You know, he's got Erdrick's sword, full plate, large shield, and unless the agility score stays really low, that's probably good enough. So, I'll be curious to see, like, for example, here, is he going to take the time to check this Brecconary shop? And he is. So, that's something that he, like, I'm not sure if you would always want to do that once you already have the gear that he has, but...
Yeah, I'll mention about Smashy. All his time searching and finding stuff, Smashy's gained no experience points for probably the last 7 minutes or so. So, level 7.
It's funny when you're running around doing errands and you're just stuck on the same level for a long time.
Brian Williams and DK are all now grinding their gold.
Yeah, and DK is clearly going all the way up for magic armor money. It looks like Brian Williams might be doing the same as well. They're going up into the 20,000s, which means magic armor and silver shield. Following very similar paths here, they're going to go restock keys and maybe check the basement if they haven't done already. We'll verify that that is the jerk. So interesting that Mr. Holmes is the only one that has found Hawksness and has the token. And the other runners have the silver harp. So, or I'm sorry, they have the stones of sunlight. So Mr. Holmes, once he finds that mountain cave, which I don't think was that far away, if he walks in that direction, finds mountain cave, and he is really going to be in good shape.
Mr. Holmes found a key somewhere. I think it was also Mountain Cave. So Holmes might have been into it and then died a little earlier on than the rest of them.
Is that right? Mr. Holmes found keys?
Yep.
I don't remember that. Did he go and check the coordinates and everything then as well? Because
I don't believe so, but I think he's kind of now actually, because he's been casting repel and walking around this map very slowly. So I think he's trying to piece out.
Okay, yeah, I think you're right. Might be counting out the coordinates right now.
The magic key found at the bottom of the tablet cave as well. So keys galore.
We're going to be keeping an eye on Mr. Holmes' screen, because if he finds the armor, but no, it's the fairy flute at the coordinates. Right. So we will need to find the town of Cole to find Erdrick's armor. So a little more exploration left to be done.
Camion, I do believe the harp
take an intentional death here in the swamp.
Yeah, the harp was in the treasury of Chitangal, so Brian Williams was doing a gold grind there. I can imagine all chests are opened. So I'd say it's a safe bet. The harp is in Brian Williams' possession.
All right, and we have DK9146 getting his large shield and perhaps going to head over to get his coordinates, and somehow the amount of money that he had, like he doesn't have silver shield money anymore, so I'm not sure what happened there. Did he die after doing the gold grind? That's I guess possible. Yeah, because he's just now getting the full plate. Yeah. He may have died at some point after the gold grind. So in his case, he may no longer be looking at shops because he can't afford the silver shield anymore. So he would have to reinitiate a gold grind and all that. He has full plate and large shield now. He may be done shopping. Whereas Smashy has managed to not die yet, and he has the money for the silver shield. So if he finds more towns, he may take the time to look in the various shops to see if the shield is somewhere. We haven't seen it anywhere yet, but still a few towns left to be found with some weapon and armor shops.
So Rudar, Cole, and Garenham are still in large. No one's found those towns yet. Those towns have more goodies as well. Not so important anymore with the basically all the items being found already. But Garenham does have the back cave. That could be the Silver Harp cave.
Right.
Twist.
Yeah, and it would be interesting if something like the Death Necklace could be found in one of those chests or something. They're not doing great as far as HP yet, but never know if that's an item that could come into play later. But yeah, we know where everything else that's important is already.
Mr. Holmes is back in Mountain Cave.
Oh, is this Mountain Cave? Okay. Yeah, so he has all 3 quest items. What would he be doing in Is this Mountain Cave? What would he be looking for now?
Yeah, I don't think Mr. Holmes finished the cave, so
he may be just setting up a gold grind. I don't know. But what would you be looking for? You'd be looking for the Death Necklace, just in case.
One of the boosty items. Death Necklace or Fighters Ring, I would guess.
And not going to do the gold grind because he cast outside and he had opened enough chests to initiate a gold grind. So he's going to be satisfied with the large shield for the remainder of the game, most likely. And here is Rimuldar. He already has keys, but there's one chest and not going to bother looking for the Death Necklace in there.
Ooh,
here's the Silver Harp Cave, and then it will be on to the Jerk Cave for Mr. Holmes, which is in the Tantigo basement, and he already knows where Hawksness is. Commence Axe Knight grinding. This is going to be an insanely fast seed for Mr. Holmes.
Riley Williams right behind, but still lacking the token.
Mr. Holmes still needs to find the town of Cole for the Urgix armor. So I spoke slightly too soon, although he could do all those things that I just mentioned right now if he so chose. And you know,
Brian Williams following step for step Mr. Holmes, just lacking the armor and Hawk's Nest. So both of them are pretty much on pace to sub out of the seed if things go smoothly.
Yeah, because Brian Williams will find the token when he does find Hawk's Nest for the first time, but then he'll have to run around, and do the Rainbow Drop errand afterwards.
Well, look at the Rainbow Drop errand is back home at the castle, so it's not a
back at the castle. Yeah, Mr. Holmes isn't doing that right now, anyways. So I thought maybe he would do that now and get some grinding done, but instead he's going to continue just exploring and looking for coal first. Sometimes if you get a few extra levels, it makes your repel a little bit more effective. But either way, Mr. Holmes is already almost at level 12, so he probably doesn't feel like he needs to do a whole lot of grinding. This might be one of those seeds where there's not a lot of grinding required. I haven't really paid attention to the strength gains along the way. So, if they're almost there for stats already, then maybe there's just not a lot of grinding to be done.
All right, Smashy finds the flute. DK finds Silver Harp Cave. So all the runners in good time making their ways around. Holmes has the advantage of knowing where Hawk's Nest is, a good grind spot, and the token there. And none of them found coal yet.
Should mention special thanks to Bobski for restreaming tonight amongst a little bit of challenging technical issues with some of the Twitch updates this week. But able to get it done, so appreciate that. And Camion Renakai on the tracking tonight, so thanks to him. And perhaps maybe if we want to put the stats up for the runners, we'll get a glimpse and see if there's any more grinding to be done here.
Let's see our swole. Oh, no, we're not swole at all. Ooh. Wolf.
Oh, there's some strength for you. See, Wolf, what do you think about that?
It's like my strength in real life. That's not great at all.
Well, the little plus signs indicate that the strength and the HP are kind of emphasized in these builds, and yet both of those stats are lacking, as indicated by the white scores in our tracker, meaning no go. Those stats are no good. So
agility, however,
all the more reason, in my opinion, why Mr. Holmes maybe would want to just go back and get some Axe Knight grinding done now, but I don't know.
Not going anywhere, so it's not leaving town anytime soon. That is a no. He bought the timeshare. He's not leaving.
What's that? Agility? Yeah.
Yeah,
it's just that, why, if you get a few levels, maybe the strength score will actually increase so that you can swat some enemies a little easier. But either way, I mean, if he finds coal like right now, then he's just done with the seed. So
it's true.
He's just hoping to bump into it in the next few seconds here. He does find Charlock. I guess he maybe hadn't seen that yet either, which is another, important thing to know where it is.
The early game was past that really windy, like forced swamp walk over a bridge, so it was really most of your resources to get there. Now it's open season with all the MP they got.
And from Burgundy, I appreciate the shout out, and I checked out a little bit of his yakking tonight on the there was a Dragon Warrior 4 3-way race on a different channel where they were on the front page of Twitch for a while and had over 10,000 viewers for a bit. Not sure if was aware at the time while he was going solo on the mic there, but did a very nice job as always.
Mr. Holmes just behind Charlock finds Garanham.
All right, maybe we'll peek into these chests just in case the death necklace becomes a thing. I guess he is doing that. Fighter's ring, as you mentioned as well, hasn't been found yet. There is the death necklace. Okay.
All right.
Just in case they get, like 65 more HP in the near future.
Imagine if you will. 53 strength.
Right. Well, it's a dark cave, and it is swamp cave, so it is you may want to go through here and explore the other side, since we still need the town of Cole. He's not going to bother checking the search spot because he already knows where the best grind tile is over in Hawksness.
Oh, no, I think
never mind. Well, there's also a grind tile here, and so he has the option now of potentially just getting a quick level with the MP that he has, and then just backing out, taking the inn in Garanham, and just going through from there. But no, he's just not going to bother with that. Just going to take the one Axe Knight and move on. Interesting.
So there's a chance now. 2 continents. If this is truly a separated continent, Cole might be over here somewhere.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Is that a lot of the dark caves maybe he would have noped out of, but this one is useful because it does lead to new areas, and he's still looking for coal for the Erdrick's armor. So he does exactly that, goes through, and it seems to be kind of a contained island here so far, and not much out here yet. Sometimes when this happens, it feels like you're falling behind other runners when you explore a whole empty continent like this, but never know. Could be just right around the corner here, but he's getting some good experience in the meanwhile, up over 3,000, maintaining that lead over Brian Williams, and the other 2 runners have fallen behind experience-wise.
Oh, wow. In the very corner of the island, it's Cole.
All right, so nice bit of routing now for Mr. Holmes, as it turns out. So armor in hand, he could cast Return right now if they've learned it yet and pick up the Rainbow Drop. If he hasn't learned it, there's a shop here that sells wings. You could go home, or you could take an intentional death somewhere. He could go right into the cave here and grind some Axe Knights in the Swamp Cave.
Oh no!
Before taking the death, I'm not sure what he's doing exactly.
Brian Williams unfortunately decides to leave the Swamp Cave, so Cole remained elusive.
Oh, but he is going to get the bonus cave.
That loots you.
Not particularly important bit of gold for Brian Williams in the bonus cave. DK now is exploring the back half of Garanham.
DK followed the cave through. Will not.
Well, they've all gotten their death necklaces in hand now. Since this is a low strength seed, it could certainly become a thing later on. And I'm struggling to figure out what Mr. Holmes is up to here exactly.
Mr. Holmes hopped in that cave, found a gold chest, decided, nah, I don't need anything else, and leaving. So that's going to be give Garanham, I imagine. But again, with all the key items in hand, basically.
With Mr. Holmes, like what? Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, outside of Fighter's Ring, there's nothing to search for anymore.
Do you think he was doing that just for the Fighter's Ring? I suppose it's possible. All right, well, now I think he... Is he going for the Axe Knight Spike Tile? Okay.
Yeah, it's one right here, so while you're here...
Now things are making sense. I mean, he's in grind and go mode now. He knows where the Rainbow Drop is. He saw Charlock in his travels. I mean, it's time to finish the seed for Mr. Holmes already, and we're a half an hour in.
Yeah, Charlock's actually outside his cave. If Mr. Holmes casts outside, you're basically in Garanham, and you're about 2 screens to the west of Charlock. Just a small order to go back to the castle first and getting your Rainbow Drop.
Yeah, exactly. Yep, have to go back and do it. And that's why I was saying before, if he had done that before, then he'd be in a situation where he'd geographically be ready to go into Charlock, but probably didn't matter either way, the way you choose to route that. If it were me, I would have considered grabbing the Rainbow Drop at the castle first, getting some Axe Knight grinding done, and then going to find coal afterwards. But then you risk, over grinding and not having the armor yet. So,
alrighty.
Holmes with the safer and more traditional approach of getting all the stuff and then grinding afterwards, and it's working out perfectly for him right now. Smashy is in Hawksness, and this is his first kill over the Axe Knight, so he searches and finds the token. So he has all 3 items now. Does not yet have the exchange for the staff. Can't remember.
Staff Cave is close to the Mountain Cave. It was a little bit, I think, to the west and north of Mountain Cave.
And he's deciding on just finishing out the resources here and probably going to take a Death Warp. But he'll pick up several hundred points of experience just on these Axe Knights in the meanwhile.
Ryland's back in the Swamp Cave, heading back to the New Continent, which is a good choice.
See, this Death Warp would make even more sense if he did have the staff already, because then he could warp home, get the drop from the castle. But our tracking right now is showing that he has not yet traded in for the staff, so it's going to be a little extra running around to get that, and then come back home for the drop for Smashy.
Yeah, Smashy, unfortunately, has not seen the other cave, so every runner but Smashy has that harp taken care of. So Smashy has Brian and DK outmatched in Ferns of Hawksness, but it's missing that one little spot there, which, honestly, if you've already done the Mountain Cave, you really don't need to go back to that direction. So this might come back and cost him later. Mr. Holmes pondering, do I just grind in this cave over and over again, or do I go back to Hawksness?
And Brian Williams has kept pace really nicely, and he still has Silver Shield money. He's got quite a bit of experience. Unfortunately for him, looks like he has not found the town of Hawksness yet, so still without the token in one of the 3 required search spots. So
Brian also has not gone through Swamp Cave in its entirety yet. He keeps going in and leaving, so has not found Continent 2, and you have to fully explore Continent 2 to find coal.
Yeah, but this is interesting. It's because he hasn't seen that there's an Axe Knight also in Hawksness, so I think he saw the Axe Knight here and wants to get this grinding done now because, maybe you won't be back here anytime soon, So I kind of like this play just from his perspective because he hasn't seen Hawksness yet. So, hey, there's an Axe Knight here in the Swamp Cave. Let's get this grinding out of the way now.
Yep.
And so he's been going back and forth to the inn in Garanham and then just returning back to the search spot. This time looks like he might be going through, though. So he's gotten enough grinding done from his point of view, and he'll be looking around. And if he goes, I guess it's a little southeast of here, he'll find coal with the armor.
Yeah, it's all at the east. It's the very far corner. You go over a bridge, and it's the last few tiles of the map. So it's really crammed in the back corner.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to go west first, just the same way Mr. Holmes did. It doesn't go too far in this direction, so it's not that big of a second continent. So if he just finishes this out without getting sniped somehow. I haven't seen any real snipe enemies, Seawolf. No red dragons with sleep or anything like that. It seems to be kind of an easy overworld so far.
The only true snipes we saw were early game. We've been to a rogue scorpion that had high agility, and Smashy got put asleep by that one warlock and just beat down over 5 rounds.
Like now that they're basically invincible, I just haven't seen an enemy that's going to be able to kill them now. Like at this stage of the game, they're just
they're only just poltergeist, to my knowledge. Only the poltergeist had Dragon Lord shoot breath I've seen so far.
Okay, I missed that. And their HP total is still pretty low, so those that don't have the Erdrick's armor could still get one shot by a Dragon Lord shoot breath that does up to 72 damage when you're not properly equipped. I don't think the max HP, at least on the top screens, has exceeded that yet.
It does
have
not.
A little bit of a low HP and low strength seed going on here, but we did start with Erdrick's sword and hurt more, so those low stats have not really stifled the progression through the seed at all.
It's true. Brian has the armor Erdrick, is now safe from said Dragon Lord breath. DK is grinding on Axe Knight, decides to head the rest of the cave now.
It's funny, as DK still has that silver shield money, and I don't know if he's seen all the shops yet or not, but at some point, I guess you got to just give up on it and just keep going. Let's see. I don't know if any of them checked the shop in Rimeldar. We saw Holmes nope out of it. Otherwise, I don't know. We might be running out of shops for that silver shield.
And no one checked that at that point. Anyone who got the Rimeldar had no money on hand at the time, so they didn't bother checking that out. Which is totally fair. If you
that's kind of a long shop to the walk in and out of that shop, and there's an NPC that can make it even longer sometimes. So yeah, if you're gonna skip a shop, that's definitely one to skip sometimes. But I was just curious if we had seen all the shops as far as silver shields goes. So Brian Williams still has the money. Smashy has taken a death or two since then, so he no longer has the money. And here's Cole for DK, so he'll upgrade to the Erdrick's armor. So things are happening, guys. We are
seeing Brian
for a lot of runners already.
Yeah, Brian's bleeding time now because Brian still hasn't found the token. Is now fully exploring this here Garen's grave to try and find it in there.
So Mr. Holmes, I think, is grinding the Swamp Cave Spike and walking in and out of Garenham, whereas I don't remember where Hawksness was and if that was close by to an inn, but he has decided that this is the better geographic location between those two Axe Knight choices. So this walk in and out of this inn, by the way, it's further away than you would think. Like you think, well, it's attached to the Swamp Cave, it's just right there. Notice how many tiles he's walking to go back and forth to the inn from here.
Yeah,
it's not that close, but if Hawksness really just isn't near anything, then obviously this is better.
Yeah, Hawksness is pretty isolated, so it's not much around town there. So it's good. It's good business here to simply maintain this, in grind here, and also Charlock there. Barring the fact that you have to go back to the castle, it would be the ideal grind spot if you had the drop already in possession.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, in Holmes's case, he does have to make that trip back to the castle. I guess nobody's gone ahead and gotten the rainbow drop yet, as far as our tracking goes. But
only Holmes can.
Yeah, that's the last bit of homework to do in a couple of our cases here. Smashy still needs to go for the staff as well. So upgrade Harp to the staff, and then you upgrade all three for the drop.
As a DK. And again,
Smashy, though, is the only one that hasn't gotten to the second continent where Cole has the armor. And it looks like he maybe...
Nope.
Hasn't gone through, right? Or did he?
Nah, just went there, took a few steps in, said no thank you.
Okay. Gonna continue exploring the first continent first, looks like. Okay. Yeah, and there, as you said, there's Charlock right within sight of Garenham. So once you're done grinding the Swamp Cave Axe Knight, you're right at Garenham, and you could just pop right into Charlock if you had the rainbow drop. In Mr. Holmes's case, I think one of these, since it does take a little while to walk back and forth to the inn from this spike tile, maybe one of these times he should just go all the way down with the MP and take the death warp. And that way, when you wake up from your death warp, you can go get the rainbow drop. and then you can come right back to the spot, and you're right near Charlock anyways, right? So
Pretty much. It's
see
not a
at
far
what
walk.
stage he wants to do that. He's about to get to level 15, not on this Axe Knight, but at 7,500. So we'll see again, maybe if we want to look at the stats once he gets to 15, if he's actually getting any strength, because that's going to be the major obstacle in order to become Dragon Lord eligible here. That pesky strength score that was super low for a while.
Brian decided to save the princess.
Yeah, and I didn't see a great strength score there on 15, so Mr. Holmes not even checking the stats. He still feels really far away still. I don't think he's got great increases.
At 14 was that 104 attack power, so overall, so of the game of 2 or 3, you're still only looking at 1 to 3 on the Dragon
Yeah,
Lord.
it was definitely a single digit gain on the strength there, so definitely a no-go. Got to get 16. And again, like, he's choosing to save himself here and outside and then walk all the way to this inn. I feel like that would have been a good time. He's at level 15 already. Why not go ahead and get the rainbow drop? But
so 8 strength piece from J-Man.
He has other ideas. Going to continue the grind until it's time to go here.
That puts you at 112. So that puts you at, what, 3 to 6 at 112?
Yeah, 3 to 6 damage every swing. Yeah, it's that. You have to hope that the Dragon Lord just decides to skip his turn several times, because that's not going to get it done. But if they could get a whole bunch of HP, then obviously the Death Necklace would add 10 more strength to that. That's one of the nice features in Randomizer here. And we saw that Mr. Holmes did get the Death Necklace out of that chest in Garanham, so he has that in his back pocket with calculations. Maybe not quite as many levels away from go time as it might first appear.
The case, but with a maximum 92 right now, you're gonna be hurting real bad by HP. We've seen some pretty crazy, low HP kills the Death Necklace, but I don't think 70 and change is going to work out.
No, yeah, on the next level up, you'd have to get a really high HP gain if you're not getting the strength. But it's nice that you can get kind of either or sometimes. Back in the old days before Death Necklace, if you just didn't get that strength score ever, you were just getting more levels. Now it's like, well, if I get strength or if I get HP, then it'll work. So it's, in some seeds, it cuts the pain a little bit, because you don't need quite as many levels. I think we're still 2 or 3 levels away here in most cases. So Mr. Holmes continuing to quickly grind through those levels. More Axe Knights.
Alright, do have pretty good agility, so you might see Dragon Lord actually attacks you physically. You might see some really low numbers that surprise you. So doubles and triples might be on the table if they have enough HP and MP to do the job.
Yeah, Silver Shield would have helped the cause on that a little bit as far as double attacks. Nobody able to get the Silver Shield yet in this seed. But it doesn't make as much difference as people might think. It's difference between Large Shield and Silver Shield. Believe it or not, I think it's an average of just 2.5 damage every time you get hit. So it's that obviously is helpful to get some double attacks, but not by as many as it might appear. So Cole now finally for Smashy. So everyone has Erdrick's armor now, and only Brian Williams is without one of the quest items. It's in the town of Hawksness is that token. And here is the Staff Cave, which I think he's already seen. Oh, never mind.
No,
different
that's not a cave. Staff Cave is close by, though. And again, that's Smashy's problem, that the Staff Cave
Smashy doesn't have the staff. He's the only one that doesn't have the staff. Brian Williams is the only one that doesn't have the token. DK and Mr. Holmes are both in grind and go mode. Just Mr. Holmes got there a little earlier, so he's amassed quite the experience lead. 5,000 points between those two represent close to about a 10-minute lead, probably, as far as Axe Knight grinding goes. And DK is doing it on the Hawksness tile, so a little bit of a difference. I'm not sure how much further away the inn is for DK when he goes, in between. But we see Mr. Holmes walking all the way back to the inn in Garanham again in between.
Brian Williams finds Hawk's Nest as well. We'll probably have a token in no short order.
Yeah, so
Hawk's Nest
44 minutes in, and we're everyone's in grind and go mode now, basically.
Hawk's Nest is in the very far north of the map, so it's really far from any real town. So that in walk is much worse than the Garanham walk.
And I'll note again that this is a multiplayer race. It's not just the 4 that we see here. There are some off-screen runners as well participating in the race. Amongst those, we have Beta Strap and Jay Coper and a few other runners. So quite talented runners, could easily snipe first place from away from our featured runners here. So we'll keep an eye on the race results as we get closer.
There's a scene here with the grind and go modes. If everyone's doing the same thing, it's basically your lead stays static. So if you're all grinding Axe Knights, your numbers kind of stay the same distance apart.
Yep.
So you're not gonna catch Mr.
Not
Holmes
only that, but in
Axe
some
Knights.
cases you'll be extending the lead because your stats are better. You can stay at the spot longer. You can, if it was a melee grind, which this one isn't, but if it was a melee grind, your strength score is better, so you'd be being like 3 levels ahead of your opponent, your lead actually extends while you're doing the exact same grind. Yeah, in this case, we have an Axe Knight grind, so it'll be a matter of how much MP you have, how long you can stay at the tile. And we see DK is the first one to actually go back to the castle and get that rainbow drop out of the basement, so he actually could go into Charlock Castle right now if he so chose.
It'd be a terrible choice, probably. You can do it.
Hey, you never know if you want to gamble that the next level is going to be huge, which we know it's not, but the option is open.
Nice again. So right now, effectively, Mr. Holmes is in the lead and will not lose that lead, barring a really terrible Charlock. We've not seen Gold Resolver run from, haven't seen Blue Dragon, haven't seen Red Dragon. I think we saw one Armored Knight. So we're not sure if anything really nasty is lurking in Charlock.
Yeah, that Armored Knight mostly was just punching, at least so far. Yeah, nothing. None of the big enemies with sleep is the major thing to look out for. Dragon Lord Breath is a little bit annoying as well, but mostly if any of those monsters have sleep, that can actually kill you when you're in a dive. So
yeah, Dragon Lord Breath
and we haven't
hurt
seen
you
that
a lot.
yet.
Yeah, Deal Breath hurts you a lot and you heal. Sleep hurts you a lot and you can't heal.
Right, yeah,
it really adds up in a hurry.
That's a good way to look at it. And Smashy is going to take the long walk around to actually restock keys, passing through Rimmildar. Not sure if he bothered checking the shop, but no, it doesn't have the Silver Shield money anyways. But deciding that he really needed some keys, so he's going to walk around here, grab some keys, and still needs that Staff Cave, I think. He's the only one that's not in grind and go mode right now of our featured runners. Oh, and it's right here, I think.
That should be
I think this is the Staff Cave, yeah.
Which would be good luck, because Smashy, the Staff Cave is right by Mountain Cave, so if you had no reason to go back to that cave again, like, you were not going back to that spot until you were done with everything else on the map.
Just getting waylaid by several monsters in the 3 steps that it took to get to the cave, but here's the Staff Cave now. So, grind and go mode officially now for everyone. He knows where the rainbow drop is, and he can commence his grind. He's going to be in a decent battle with DK 9146, a little bit behind. So Smashy had been maintaining some decent experience pace while exploring, but DK and Brian Williams on the dedicated grind now have both gotten about 1,000-point lead over him. Mr. Holmes, of course, is just in a league of his own. He's way ahead. But kind of shaping up to be a close race amongst the other 3 runners in our featured stream here.
Yeah, as mentioned before, Smashy from like 10 minutes, 17 minutes didn't gain any experience point. So that was a whole lot of time doing necessary chores. But it was all clumped together in one spot, so it really had no chance to make progress.
It's amazing. Every time I look up, I feel like I see Mr. Holmes walking all the way through Garanham to go to the inn. He's had to do this several times now. This has been kind of a lengthy grind. I think he's been grinding for almost since the half-hour mark, and we're almost at the 49-minute mark now. So sometimes that just happens. You're done collecting all the items pretty quickly, and you're on a fairly low level still, and you need a lot of levels.
Yeah, they got
so nothing to do but just walk back and forth, get your MP back.
Yeah, I want to say level 12 was when Mr. Holmes had it all put together. And it's a
Yeah.
matter of thinking, well, let's start killing knights. And even now, at 16, only 95 hit points. Not very MP sound low. Strength still below the margin. So endgame stats still have not been attained.
He's almost at 17. We got to get to 12,000 even for 17. So about 3 more Axe Knights. We'll get that done. And I don't know if our tracker wants to toggle the stat window. We'll start looking at Dragon Lord math, I suppose, since we're just watching everybody grind here. And we're now only in the white on the strength score, Seawolf. At least at 16, we have enough HP. So what do you think now about Dragon Lord math and about how this is going to work?
I'll say at 17 is going to change in about 2 seconds. But AP right now is, I want to say, 4 to 8 on a swing, which now becomes 4 to 8 on a swing.
Okay, so we got no strength. We're going to 18, guys. And we also didn't get, 35 hit points either, so the Death Necklace is not in play yet. But if you get somewhere around 130 hit points, you can basically add 10 strength points to your calculations, because you can consider using the Death Necklace in the Dragon Lord fight at that time. But without, a huge HP gain, that's just moot, and we just need more strength. So, yeah, so that's the idea. You subtract 100 from that attack power that you see there. So 117 minus 100 is 17. And then divide by 2 for the max, divide by 2 again for the min. So doing 4 to 8 damage per swing on the Dragon Lord right now. Since he has at least 150 hit points, it would just take way too many attacks. So that's basically what the runners are thinking about, when they're in the process of deciding when are they going to stop doing this and go into Charlock to defeat the Dragon Lord. Well, those numbers have to kind of work.
Yeah,
and right now, it takes too many attacks.
Dragon Quest series as a whole, even though it's the first game of the series and it's obviously the most archaic and basic of them all, even without the series now, even nowadays, dodging, not really a big factor in this game. Every attack, you get punched. You attack, they get punched as well. There's really not much dodging going on in Dragon Quest games at all. So in a game where you can't dodge anything, HP is kind of important.
Yeah, just resources in general, just resource management has like a theme throughout the series. Just what are you going to do with the MP? You don't have like MP restore items that you're carrying around or anything. So whatever you get from your inn, you got to take that all the way through the dungeon and into the Dragon Lord boss battle. And then that just represents how many times you can heal before you just, you're out of resources and you die. So right now, in the randomizer, it's only 8 MP to cast Heal More. I think in the original game it was actually 10, right? So in this 10? We have 8. So that represents level 17, you can cast Heal More 12 times. So that means you can get 14 or 15 attacks before running out of resources if you get all the way through Charlock with full resources. With 111 agility, by the way, that's probably not going to be much of a problem. That is an insanely high agility score for a strength HP build.
Yeah, the seed, your name determines your seed's maximum gains. A focus on certain stats and how much that focus is boosted. But apparently the math doesn't work out of the seed because agility is still cranked up. They purposely avoided that stat in the first place, and they still have well beyond what you see in those seeds. Even at level 10, they were at 96, so it was really obnoxious.
So I think it was DK that was grinding Hawksness earlier, and he has switched to the Swamp Spike tile. So now we have a very close race actually shaping up between him and Brian Williams, who have virtually identical experience totals. It just varies back and forth about whoever is walking back to the inn at whatever time. They're swapping leads back and forth, and they're doing the identical grind. So it's going to be super close between those two in a few minutes when they're diving Charlock. A little bit, it's going to depend on encounter luck and various things diving through Charlock. So we got an exciting finish coming up here. And pretty soon, I think we're going to see Mr. Holmes on his way into Charlock. But first, he is going to have to go get the inn. And right now, if he could just swipe one small monster here, he could get level 18 before hitting the inn. Unfortunately, he gets the Armored Knight. Oh
no. It's
takes
the biggest monster of the bunch.
Takes the gamble to try to find a small monster. He needs about 30 experience points with no... Oh, and Warlock is perfect. He's going to get the level right here. 28 experience. So he had no resources, but this saves him an entire walk in and out if it's enough.
Oh,
So right there, it's 12 power. If that's enough, he goes out, takes the in, and goes straight to Charlock.
let's see.
And so I think he's doing, because he exited there, it leads me to believe that he thinks it's enough. Doesn't need the herb shop, I guess. Just gonna walk right by that. So heads up play. I think that was a nice gamble by Mr. Holmes. He could have died there, but getting that one last monster to get this, so he doesn't have to walk all the way back into the dungeon for one more kill.
Yeah,
now he's got to go back home and get the drop. But
even dying there was simply, I'll be home, I'll get my drop, and on the way to Charlock, I'll punch a monster and gain my level. Like, it's not a huge loss of time.
But then you got to find an inn, right? So,
I mean, you're right about potential. You just walk in, talk to the old man, kill more.
I know, but that's all. It was just, it's so much better if you could get that level before taking the death. So that was, so right now he's got the resources, and let's see, 104 MP was exactly enough for another heal more as well. So we're up to 13 heal mores, assuming he can keep it all to the bottom. He's got exactly enough HP to make things reasonable. And let's see, 129 attack power. See, well, if this feels like borderline stats all the way, the good thing though is that it's a very, very good agility. And pretty good defense power, so your defense breaking some of the monsters as well.
Yeah, if you had the Silver Shield, this would be outrageous in your favor. But since it's not been found, this still is pretty intense. It's definitely a coin flip, I would say.
My chart says that this is like exactly enough to fight the Dragon Lord. Like,
yeah, all the stats are aligned to be like,
you want 13 heal mores, which is exactly what they have. So, and they're like, it's just right on the right threshold for HP as well. So this is like, if you could draw up, like, this is what you need to fight the Dragon Lord, like one less point in any of those stats, and it might be a no-go. But this is enough. I know Mr. Holmes knows it, and he's going to go in, especially with that huge agility. It's go time. So we're going to see a Charlock die from Mr. Holmes.
Well, Holmes
if anything goes wrong, he won't have enough resources.
Yeah, Holmes isn't shy from combat there. He fought that golem. So Holmes is still taking punches.
Oh, this is super surprising that he's thinking about getting another level. He just walks right by Charlock. I honestly can't believe it. I mean, I think this is, I don't know. I would not be doing this.
Yeah, came on. The golem looked in the wrong way. He looked back the wrong way, and critical damage at 121. So plenty strong there. The thing is, like, Dragon Lord's really, really, really defensive. That kind of power is just a okay, heal at the end, mercifully.
Okay. I thought he was going there to do more grinding, but you're saying that he just ended up having to use some magic to fight a monster because it was being, a tough monster. Okay.
I was still surprised he fought the golem in the first place. Maybe just to see if the golem had any abilities. Like, that's not a bad choice. You're on the Charlock. Like, this might be the boss monster. Let's see what he can do to me later.
Yep. And they do have the fairy flute, by the way, which he went out and found the coordinates and tracked down those coordinates. So he has the fairy flute. If the golem is kind of an annoying monster, I didn't notice what abilities it had, but if it is annoying, he does have the fairy flute. So that's a nice little,
the golem had the ability to take. The golem had the ability to be hit by a Kaishin no Shigeki and take 121 damage. That's all we saw. The ability to fall down in many small pieces.
Yep. Maybe he was using Repel anyways to get to Charlock, so then if you use Repel, obviously you don't have full MP anymore, so he did that just to go over to the inn, and it was all part of the plan, I suppose. But he's going in now, and obviously by the way he's fighting these monsters, he's going for game. He's not really grinding. He's just kind of picking off the monsters that he's defense breaking here, just in case he gets like an extra level, just for insurance purposes, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure I'd be doing that. With 111 agility, you can run from every monster like every time, and you can get down there so much faster. I think I don't like this. I think he should be just going for it.
I mean, the fact that Holmes even fought that goal makes me think that Holmes still at the back of his mind thinking, one level won't hurt.
Yeah, I don't like this. And, he's way ahead on screen here, but we have some good runners off screen. I don't know. But meanwhile, the other runners continue to have this very close race. Here we are with DK at 10,000 and change, and he's at the inn, and Brian Williams has his chance to overtake the lead again. So that lead's going back and forth between those two. Smashy, it just took him a little longer to round up the items, having to find that staff cave near the end there. So he's a couple of thousand behind.
Yeah, Smashy's hoping for bad luck in Charlock for Doe too.
Right. In order to overtake these two runners. Yeah, Mr. Holmes is definitely thinking about getting the level on the way down. He's picking off defense breaking monsters. I believe he has 95 defense power. So he's breaking everything, including Axe Knights. If we found Axe Knights running around in here, he's defense breaking those as well. Not quite enough for the Blue Dragon, so he runs from that one. But he's defense breaking Wizards, Werewolf, Star Wyvern, Green Dragon, and Axe Knight, which is about half the monsters that you could find in Charlock. So when he runs into those monsters, he's just swiping at them and beating them with Erdrick's Sword, not using MP, and not really having to heal because those monsters aren't doing any damage. We see Baby Breath here from Axe Knights, but no big deal. You have Erdrick's Sword, or Erdrick's Armor lets you heal walk in between as well. And you have some herbs just in case, so he's just picking off these monsters with really no chance of having anything go wrong here.
Also staying on this floor where the Axe Knights are very common, so basically Axe Knight grind on this floor, not diving deeper, risking running into red dragons or blue dragons. That could be a problem.
Yeah, it's just sacrificing a couple of minutes to engage in all these battles. So if you ran from all these monsters, he'd probably be standing in front of the Dragon Lord already. So it's just a couple of extra minutes to get this done, but he's doing it on the way down. It's the most efficient way to get this last level. The last level obviously will be enough no matter what, since we know that this level is already enough. So whatever he gets, he gets. He needs about 1,000 more. He needs 16,500 total to get 19. So he'll just pick off about 6 or 7 more of these monsters and just go fight the Dragon Lord from there. And here's a red dragon. Have we seen red dragons? Oh dear. The one thing I was wondering is if we had seen red dragons and if they had sleep. Now he has a lot of agility, so he was able to get away that time.
Yes, but
and wisely using herbs to get all the way back up nearly to max.
Like I mentioned, Dragon had sleep and Dragon Lord breath, so red dragons are dangerous.
And that possibility may be one of the reasons why he was thinking about getting the emergency extra level, because we hadn't seen red dragons, and what if red dragons have sleep? So right now this one attacks, so maybe not a 75% sleep, but now it casts sleep. So sleep and deal 2 breath. Well, he's able to get away that time as well. So a lot of luck is going to have to go all of our runners' ways now in order to get to the bottom. Even with all this agility, if he was just unable to run that one time right there, he'd be back at the castle. So really kind of nasty. I would be like probably using herbs to get a full 97 hit points to go into these battles with. Because if you enter, in this case, he entered the battle with 75, and that gives you one less turn to take an attack, like right there.
And
he just doesn't have enough hit points, so down he goes. So I feel like in this situation, you have to keep your HP very high. Like, you got to use the extra herb and get all the way up to 97 so that you can withstand an extra turn. You know, you can have one more turn to wake up from the sleep spell or whatever. There's a very convenient herb shop in Garenham, which is right next to the Charlock, so he's down to 2 herbs. He'll probably go grab the herbs at that shop while resting up for his final dive. So unfortunate, Mr. Holmes just doesn't have the luck. 111 agility, not enough.
Yeah, again, so all the races now, Smashing has a chance to catch up to the other two, knowing that red dragons are at the bottom of Charlock. They're very common and they're very dangerous. So now it's kind of an open season for these, second tier races on our screen here. And odds Mr. Holmes, some bad luck, could die 2 or 3 more times going down there. It's not a possibility. Holmes will go twice, be put to sleep in 2 rounds. So 3 rounds of that, you're probably in trouble.
And we have crossed the hour mark, so not the super jet seed that it was looking like before, mostly because we just needed a lot of levels. It's not a level 14 go time, it's more like 18 or 19. So that was the brunt of the time required here. And looking at SRL, still nobody in our race has finished yet, so first place still up for grabs. Mr. Holmes is going to go back in and see if he can overcome a failed dive to still get first place. And our other runners on stream are catching up while he's busy, taking naps at the castle, but he still has the lead here. We just are not sure what's happening off stream.
And again, for all these race going on here. For all the races, anyone who died early, who tried to maybe sneak in 17 and try and I'll go the way down, sneak in my last level. Probably not gonna happen with those dragons. So anyone who tried going in early probably paid for it.
Like DK right now, looks like he might be in a dark place on level 17. Or oh no, I think there were armored knights just in Swamp Cave, so that's where he is. I thought maybe he was going through Charlock on 17 there, since you mentioned it. But nope, he's just grinding. Mr. Holmes back on the top floor is going to pick off more wizards and other nice friendly monsters on these top zones. I couldn't tell if it was the second zone or maybe all the way down on the third zone that had those red dragons.
Yeah, Holmes is doing a
might have been in the bottom
dive.
If the top zone was pretty friendly. Well, armored knights.
Yeah, if it's bottom zone, that's awful because that means you have a long walk through very high encounter rate tiles at the end of the game.
And not only that, it takes a while just to get to the bottom zone. So anytime you are in Charlock for a long time and then you die, it's even more time lost. But he is getting experience along the way. So if he had been running from every monster like I was suggesting, then it would have been a pure time loss. He would have been, running from monsters for 3 or 4 minutes. Then you take a red dragon death and you just, you're back at square one. So looks like he had the right idea by getting this emergency level, and he's almost there.
Most now, I think, for some HP. When you get to 105, 106, you can stand another round against a red dragon. So that really helps you, eke out that last little bit of time to run away.
So meanwhile, DK has managed to get a little bit of a lead over Brian Williams, even though they've been doing the identical grinds. I haven't watched closely to see if there was any minor differences in how they've been going about the grinds. But yeah, it's pulled ahead by 1,200 points now or so. Again, he'll have to go to the end, and Brian Williams still has more resources, so that lead will be cut, but I don't think it will be cut all the way, so a little bit of extra efficiency for DK. And Smashy's closed the gap a little bit as well. So something must have happened with Brian Williams. Maybe he took an unintentional death along the way or something when I wasn't watching, but those three are in a nice tight battle for second place while Mr. Holmes is fighting for first place. We'll see what happens when he gets to that red dragon zone, and he's one more kill away from level 19, and maybe it'll make things a lot easier.
All right, DK hits 18. Things keeps going. Looked at stats long and hard and went back to fight more knights.
Is that right? I might be actually quite a bit behind then.
DK just got 18
on my screen. Okay,
Ooh,
I am going to refresh. I think I'm 30 seconds behind you.
Gotcha.
I'll be right back.
Mr. Holmes gets 11 power on that level. So Mr. Holmes is now going to have to go. And, actually use a stop spell on the red dragon. Besides, it's worth 2 MP to stop that dragon from casting sleep. And once you use it once, you must use it 3 more times, because you've lost that heal more. Just use that mana you have.
All right, and DK, if he hadn't done so already, I guess he may be going to get the rainbow drop now. And
appears so.
Maybe is going to go for it on 18 as well, and it'll be, as you were mentioning, interesting to see if he fights his way down also, or if he just goes for it on 18. What did we get on 19 for Mr. Holmes? I missed it while I was refreshing.
You got 19. You got 11 power, and I think 11 MP.
11 power is huge, yeah. So he can burn a bunch of heal mores now and still be okay. So it's a very nice pickup for Mr. Holmes.
Again, he's choosing to use stop spell on the dragons now, which seems to be landing pretty regularly. So stop spell is a good investment.
Interesting play. With all this agility, I'm not sure that I would have ever risked that. But
now if
he went for it and it seems like it's working every time, then that's perfect, because now he has a whole bunch of extra MP to work with that power gain. So nice plays by Mr. Holmes all throughout the end game here. I just feel like with 111 agility, you're just such a favorite to run that I would just be continuing to run, but then I'd probably get blocked and wrecked. So
That being said, he's run to about 5 red dragons, like 10 steps down there, so it's getting really out of hand.
And this golem seems to want to appear here and there too, which didn't bother using the fairy flute, so maybe it wasn't quite as nasty as we had thought. But
and we're getting from our outside reporters, Lily Bobsky, that Beta Strip's also diving off stream. So if Holmes gets a dragon sniped, might not get first place anymore.
Yeah, I figured as much. Beta Straps is extremely efficient with this game and almost all types of seeds that can come up. This is kind of a straightforward jet seed situation with the early good stuff. Beta Strap's very good at those. So
the only true ball was...
I kept checking to see if he had finished. Also, Angel FM was having some technical problems right at the start of the race, but it's possible that he could be diving and we don't even know it because he might be going like in and out of having connections. He'll be recording locally if his connection fails, and it's possible that we could see a dot done from him through another device at any moment. So possibilities of getting sniped, absolutely. Both of those runners off stream are extremely good. So
oh no, Blue Dragon has sleep as well.
Okay. A surprise! Fortunately, they're very easy to run from at this stage of the game, and I don't know if Mr. Holmes, he's down to 4 herbs, down to 3 now, approaching the mini-boss. Of course, it's a red dragon, but Mr. Holmes has the excellent knowledge that it is stop spellable, which, just in case it was the mini-boss, that was great information for him to have. Not even going to risk it, he's going to heal.
Yeah, still though, hits like a truck. For the ambush and then 2 swings, almost took him down to 40 hit points. So long as Case hasn't sleep, he'd be okay, but the thing does a whole lot of damage still.
This is just really good from Mr. Holmes. Very nice job.
Alright.
Does take one attack to the face there. I guess he must have been low rolling. It took 4 or 5 hits to take down that red dragon. Using some herbs, and he'll have 10 heal mores to work with 139 attack power, you said. So it's actually kind of close now with the math, but he is still a pretty big favorite, especially if he doesn't get back attacked by, and the agility score is supposed to help with that. 140 attack power, even better. So he has maybe 1 heal more to spare here. So very big favorite to win against the Dragon Lord here is Mr. Holmes. Able to get through that fight with full HP, so earning himself an extra attack in the process and not getting back attacked. So this is very, very likely to be successful here for Mr. Holmes. He has enough defense power so that he'll never take more than 48 damage. And with 98 max HP, he just has to make sure not to get a low heal more roll a couple of times. Heal more can heal you between 85 and 100 HP. So if you get whacked all the way down to like 1 HP and then you heal more and it's just like a low roll, you might have to double heal here and there in this situation, but so far so good for Mr. Holmes. And Smash is going in now, and the others seem to be grinding for 19.
Smash probably feels at this point, Jet Seed, free goodies, not much challenge in the overworld. Probably gotta dive now to have a chance. So it's more a matter of, I think it's less like, I'm fully comfortable with this. Not really fully comfortable, but I'm understanding that everyone else is probably ahead of me right now. Mr. Holmes, meanwhile, doing most of his rolls above average damage, so doing very well in the swings here.
I'll tell you, I love how Mr. Holmes has handled the end game in retrospect. There were a lot of tricky scenarios there once he started running into those red dragons and everything else, starting to experiment with the stop spell and then using that knowledge for the mini boss battle and just making sure to have the resources for this Dragon Lord fight. It's really nicely done, and there it goes with 1 heal more to spare. And unless he gets sniped, we're going to have a first place finisher here, Mr. Holmes. Very nice race.
Alrighty. Holmes going to cash in his ball of life to the king. And again, about 14 magic points of stop spell. See about 40 magic points of heal more.
Oh, he gets sniped.
Oh, the dreaded
Beta Strep
strike.
has finished in first place. It was a 5-second differential, or maybe like less. Mr. Holmes actually
Mr. Holmes
typed it
misspelled
wrong at first, but
dot.
it was,
We had a dot
yeah.
doing.
But it still came in a couple of seconds after Beta Strep. So crazy finish between those two. Beta Strep is your first place overall, and Mr. Holmes second place overall, first place on stream. Great job between those two runners. Well done. We'll see if any of them wants to chat here.
So
and I like how this is shaped up for second on stream, the Seawolf, with Smashy basically behind the other two runners, but going for it on an earlier level. So now he's geographically in second place on stream. If he can manage to get down there full, I mean, he's got a Red Dragon Gauntlet to deal with at the bottom, we know, but...
Yes, Smashy's currently unaware of the Red Dragon problem waiting for him, but that'll be a thing to see in about 10 seconds.
Exactly.
But Smashy's doing my play, which is like, I'm racing, usually I'm racing, but you know what? I think I'm one level behind everybody else in this race, but I'm pretty confident if I don't go dive now, I'm going to lose by like 10 minutes.
No, but that's one of those things that it's one of the major decisions they have to make in this game, and we'll see if Smashy's aggressive play here basically jumps him up a couple of placements. Now he does seem to be. Is he fighting some? He is fighting some enemies on the way down as well. So the others chose to finish out 19 on the grind tile, whereas Smashy is using the fact that they have very high defense power to grind some of the defense-breaking enemies on the way down through Charlock, and that's one of those things that we can compare directly in this view here. Which way is the better choice, and it's one of those things. It's become more common to see this fight your way down strategy here. It's conventional wisdom is that you'll save a couple of minutes. So we're seeing that he was behind these two runners and now may end up finishing ahead of
just
them.
during this interview here.
So, Mr. Holmes, congratulations on a fantastic run there, and coming in at right around the same time as Beta Strep there off stream. He wasn't one of our featured runners, but great finish between the two of you. How did it feel?
Just so you know, you should always pre-type .done because I mistyped it twice, and I think we would have like legitimately tied.
Yeah, it did. I saw that too. It was interesting.
Yeah, you saw the first one. The first one was comma done, and the second one was .doen. So we got a lot of iterations there.
Typing skills, important part of the Dragon Warrior Randomizer.
But again, also, if I didn't see like 4 red dragons on a single floor, probably would have won. So, I mean...
Yeah, it's always tough when you end up failing a dive and having to redive. So I guess we could jump right into talking about the end game in general. So it's interesting. I think you made a lot of great decisions in retrospect, because 18 kind of seemed on the surface like it was enough. But you decided to start fighting your way through the weaker enemies to start building towards that emergency level, which ended up being a good thing, because I don't know if you had seen a red dragon yet, but it turned out red dragons had a bit of a surprise for you at the bottom.
Yeah, maybe I saw one like on the overworld, but I don't think I ever saw anything too crazy from it. But I also didn't have the fighter's rings, so that would have made a huge difference. But just like, it's so close, I'm not like wrecking a run. And when I have 102 defense, why not just fight? So yeah, I mean, again, I'm happy with the decision. I feel like it was practically the right thing to do, and yeah, just RNG. I mean, I got 4 red dragon encounters that are 1 out of 5. Maybe it was 2 out of 5 in that zone, but I thought I saw 4 other enemies, and 4 of them on a single floor that you expect to get 1, maybe 2 encounters on average. So it's like,
and
that
then
was...
you the second time through, you started experimenting with stop spell, and it seemed like it started working really well. So now you had a strategy just in case it was the mini boss, and I think that was great information to have in your back pocket. All of a sudden it is the mini boss, and you're able to use stop spell strategies and deal with it pretty efficiently without a big problem there. So
Yeah, in retrospect, I should have done that as soon as I saw it the first time. I was kind of kicking myself.
Oh, you mean before you had finished out the level, just banking on getting enough, like start using resources on the first dive?
Exactly.
Okay. That would be a little bit of a bold move, I guess, not knowing what the level is going to bring, but you would assume that it usually is going to give you something, right? So I guess that would be an interesting play as well. Start trying the stop spell. You had so much agility, though. I don't know if like how closely you look at all your stats and stuff.
Oh yeah, I saw we had 112 or 114 something.
Yeah,
like that.
So like to me, I know they're red dragons and they're hard to run from, but that score should be enough to be like I would just be running from them. But
well, I mean, I actually crunched the numbers on my stream. So when you're at that agility, you're still only 60% to run. Like
right, yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. But I mean, if stop spell is going to land every time, then that's great. But you don't know, when you start trying stop spell, you don't know if it's going to land at all, right? So that's why I'm just wondering.
Yeah.
Between the two.
Well, yeah, I mean, I tried once, and then after that, I kept trying stop spell. So.
Yeah, and I think that worked out great because then when it was the mini boss, you weren't like, oh no, what do I do? So very nice.
I like. Didn't cast sleep. You just decided to attack me instead.
Yep. And you were able to round up the items much faster than our runners on stream here. I think a big part was finding Hawksness pretty early on to get the token out of the way. I think that was the last quest item that everyone else found. And
yeah, that was the first one over here.
Mode pretty quickly.
In Jet Seeds, that's the way you got to go. I mean, like you can look at experience counts like halfway through the race, but I mean, with an Axe Knight grind, you're getting about 500 experience a minute. So it's like if you finish that grind like 10 minutes before everyone else, that's, I mean, like 3,000 potential more experience you're getting than everyone else. So like I definitely put a focus on that. Like I was skipping caves. I didn't even want to go into Garen's Grave on the second continent, but I was like, okay, there's 3 chests, maybe it's the Fighter's Ring. But yeah, like that was like even just I was thinking of not even doing that.
Was there any thought of maybe going into the Charlock Treasury for Fighter's Ring and not getting 19 on the way down? Just like trying to run from enemies, but then also getting the Fighter's Ring for the extra insurance? Or you just felt like just fighting your way down is just superior in that spot?
Even with it, it was still not the most comfortable fight in the world. So it was definitely going through my mind, but I mean, I didn't get a chance. And then the second time I got the level, and then it's just like, well, I don't need to do it now. But yeah, I was definitely running through the old brain bone.
Yeah, it's funny because I know I would have done a lot of things differently in the end game myself. At like, if you watch it back, I'll be like, oh, I don't know if I would have done that and stuff. But I think everything you did was the better decision than what I would have done. So I really liked how you handled all that. And and that was probably the most important thing in this seed decision-wise, because everything else seemed like it was straightforward. I mean, you're starting with the sword and hurt more on level 1. It's just like what else do you need, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if anyone wants to know what Mr. Holmes' encounter rate is, like, just watch my Charlock. It was one of the worst ones, that's for sure. But thankfully it didn't combine with 60 agility. It combined with almost double that. So you can't have it all, I guess.
So we also had Diabetes the Second off stream, finish in 3rd place, 120.41. Brian Williams 42 with a nice 4th place finish, 122.14. And DK 91.46, 123.21 in 5th place. So if either of those wants to come in and chat with us as well, it'd be fun.
All right. Any other questions? I mean, I think we've covered most of the bases.
What do you think, Seawolf? Anything for Mr. Holmes? Always fun to watch you race these, Mr. Holmes. Yep. Very nice run.
That's always very good. We were just all panicking. We thought you were going for 19 the hard way against the Axe Knights, but you walked past Charlock after going back to the Rainbow Drop. Like, oh, you found that golem. That's kind of weird. You're going back to Garaham. That's kind of strange.
Right. Yeah, definitely from the get-go, it was like, I will always try and fight my way down if I have decent strength, decent agility, and I'm super close. So this was like the textbook scenario for grinding a level on the dive. Like some people were mentioning it in my chat the level before, but I'm like, no, not with like 78 strength. It's just too far away. So.
Yep. And with the good defense power, you're breaking half the enemies in there. So yeah, definitely makes sense. And
Never did see a silver shield, but I didn't check all the shops.
We see the last of our on-stream runners finishing it out here, Smashy as well. So everybody kind of wrapping it up in a cluster here. Very nice. But thanks for joining us, Mr. Holmes. Always fun to see a run from you on here. So glad
Thank you so much.
Volunteered to be restreamed, and looking forward to the next one from you.
Definitely, I'm going to relax with some non-RNG Dragon Warrior 4 Chapter 1. I mean, there's never any RNG in that, so
that doesn't sound very relaxing. No, very good. Very good. Enjoy.
Thanks, guys. See you around.
So, did any of our other runners respond? I'm not sure.
Not yet. Nobody home in the chat room.
Yeah, so the official time there for Smashy for his 6th place finish overall was 1 hour 24 minutes 53. So between 3rd place and 6th place in this one was less than a 5-minute gap. Everybody kind of diving through Charlock simultaneously there. And
at that point,
it's encounter rates and run lucks and different things.
Yeah, exactly. At that point, if you miss a spot by 15, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, it's going to be, I ran into one more dragon. I got slept one more time. It seems like maybe I made a opponent turn somewhere in a cave. But usually it's like, I ran into one more dragon than you did, and now I'm lost by a minute.
Not too shabby, yeah. Well, I don't know that anybody else is popping in here, so I wonder if we should wrap it up for tonight. We got a bit of a late start, and but fortunately, the RNG folks there have bailed us out with a pretty fast seed.
Indeed.
So yeah, definitely appreciate the restreaming behind the scenes. It was a little bit of extra hard work tonight from Bobski, and he got it done. That was fantastic. And our tracker tonight, Camion Renokai, doing a fantastic job with a 4-way race with only one tracker. That is a difficult task and seemed to go flawlessly. So thanks for that effort. And Seawolf, it's always a pleasure. Thanks for the co-commentary, you were the first volunteer for commentary, actually.
Whatever. I said, whoever's around, want help? So be it. I don't barge into things. Somebody say, hey, we need help, I'm around. That's it.
Yeah, this was fun. After tournament time, I got kind of burned out, and I was like, I don't know. I wasn't really volunteering for a little while there, but now time has passed, and getting the itch for some Dragon Warrior Randomizer, and hopefully all the viewers out there feel the same. It's great to watch these excellent runs again. So we have these weeklies every Wednesday at 9, and I think we're still doing twice a week, right? Are we doing Sundays as well?
Yep, I think Sundays
also 9 p.m. Eastern. So if everybody out there is interested in more Dragon Warrior Randomizer, check those schedules mostly on the Randomania networks. For future weekly runs, we'll be talking about future tournaments like down the road. We're probably a few months away from what they call the League, which is kind of a mix of different flag sets from the randomizer. That will probably be happening late winter. But for now, twice a week, we're going to be running weeklies. And any last thoughts, Seawolf? Otherwise, that's going to be it.
Not really. Just see having that for you. Armor was hidden real deep some in the world, but otherwise, never a challenge in the overworld. Just find stuff, and levels was a stopping point. It wasn't like a sheet of. It wasn't like a tricky left turn or right turn pound something that everyone missed. It was just a matter of get your stuff and grind up to 18 and or 19 in this case, and get enough HP. And
yeah, it was a bit of a longer grind. It was like get all this stuff really fast, and then you get a grind for a lot of levels. It wasn't a very complicated grind, and they all did it very nicely. So yeah, that's going to do it. Definitely click on those links. Follow the folks in the crew here, and follow all of our on-stream runners from tonight. Everybody does a great job. You can see them running this game and other related games on their channels all the time, and come back for more weekly races Wednesdays and Sunday nights. And so that's going to do it for tonight. Thanks everybody for watching, and see you next time.